And before we go any further tonight, this is the part where John normally takes over. But because this is John's final night at RNZ and he's a bit crook, it's only fitting the rest of the show be about his work. Tonight is Checkpoint with John Campbell's 650th program since its reinvention as a multimedia radio and television program on January the 18th, 2016. John hasn't just been a presenter, he's been a mentor to young reporters across the newsroom, a journalist, a storyteller, a friend and a valued member of the RNZ newsroom. So John, thank you, good luck and best wishes from all of us. The next half hour is about you and your work.
Kia ora everyone, welcome to Christchurch and its memorial wall, the Canterbury Earthquake National Memorial. It is called, on the banks of the Avon River, just off Oxford Terrace, a short walk from the CBD, which is behind me as I speak to you tonight. 185 people died as a result of the earthquake that happened here 6 years ago today. Their names are cut into the marble beside where we are broadcasting live from tonight. The name I'm touching now, Andrew, Christian, Ross, Craig. You watch the families come along here and they all touch the names of their loved ones. Georgie, what has been the toll of the past 4.5 years? Buying your first home, believing all EQC repairs were completed because that is what you were told, to finding yourself in this position, mortgaged, negative equity, seemingly trapped with a property that has been a disaster.
I was pregnant when we closed on the property, so I now have a 4-year-old son who has never met the laid-back, happy, life-loving person that he should have. My relationship has ended, so it's been a catalyst in the end of my 15-year relationship. We went into this, we had big dreams for the house. It was close to family, it was close to friends, it was a good section, close to the mall. We thought we were buying our future.
4.5 years on, with an earthquake-damaged house with considerably less money than she still owes on it, a huge repair job required and an insurer who won't touch it, Georgina Hannafin is here to ask EQC, what's next? This is Sarah Tepania, who comes in and teaches here. We'll hear more from Sarah later. But when home has failed them and school has almost always chucked these children out, Sarah's here to show them
someone cares. Someone cares enough. The system out there has let them down enough. So I'm in here because hopefully I can make a difference. I know that sounds corny. Sorry, it's a bit of a cliche.
But if the cliche is made flesh, then maybe fewer arsons, fewer ags, fewer broken children passing the breakage on. Why are you in here?
Because I offended.
And you don't want to tell me about the offending?
No.
But it's not something you're proud of, obviously.
No.
And how long have you been in here for?
I'm going on my 8th month.
And can you tell me about your background? What was your home like as you were growing up?
My dad was, when I was growing up, my dad used to just be very violent and he was gambling a lot. And that's kind of what triggered my mind to just getting into trouble and doing what I do now. I don't blame it on him, but that's just how I was taught. That's just how my dad was raising me and my siblings. So that's just how I think now, that it's normal for me to go out and offend. Yeah.
But I have a sense, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that you're hoping for more than that now.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get out and change my life and not... I want to be a beauty therapist.
A beauty therapist. This is a girl who was repeatedly beaten when she was little.
My dad just used to beat me, my siblings and my mum just for no reason at all, just because he felt like it. Like, he was the one with the power. Yeah.
So violence was what you knew?
Yeah.
And did you become violent?
Yeah, I did.
So you missed out on getting a scholarship to St Cuth's by 2 marks.
Yes, but that's okay.
And you're living in a van.
Yes, it just made me push myself more to do better. 'Cause, yeah.
Where do you do your homework? Where do you do your homework? Where do you sit to study? Where did you swap for your tests? Where do you write your essays? Where do you do your reading?
Mum's office.
So your mum's got a job,
Yes.
but it's not enough money for you all to be able to afford a house.
Yeah. Houses are very expensive these days.
Yeah, they are. They're very expensive these days. Lots of people are talking about that, TA. TA, what do you want most of all in the world?
A library.
Are you going to have another go at that scholarship?
Yes.
And how are your brothers and sisters? Are they all happy?
No, they're not happy, but they're okay.
And are they healthy? Do people get colds? Do people get sick when you're sleeping in that van? 8 of you in one van?
Yes. They're all sick. Even I'm sick right now.
Yeah, I can hear you've got a bit of a sniffle.
Yes.
What would you like to tell the Prime Minister about your life? Have you ever thought about that? Do you know John Key? Do you know about him?
Yes.
What?
I actually studied him.
What would you like to say to him about the fact that you live in a van?
Try walking in my shoes. Not actually that easy.
I'm standing in front of some state houses, and if you can't see them, if you're listening on the radio, they really are way past their best. There looks to be a lot of damp, a lot of rot. They really are in very poor condition, but there is a waiting list for these. If you can't get up the waiting list, if you can't get into a state house, you can go private. Now, this is one of the poorest areas in Auckland. This is a neighbourhood where money is really tight, but beside the state houses, there is a property for rent. It's 4 bedrooms, and they've done a little bit of work on it, a lick of paint. It looks like a house the owners might be proud of. But the rent for this, well, I inquired, and you can get it for $580 a week. $580 a week to live here. Now, if you work a 40-hour week at $16 an hour, which is more than the minimum wage, that's $640 gross, and this place is $580. To people listening, I cannot describe. We have just walked across Ken and Denise's front lawn, and we are now standing in ash. And everywhere you look in the foreground is burnt and black and lost, and behind us the house is still standing, and you can hear the wind, and it is just... So that moved the flames so fast.
Yes, yeah, just the fire, we're just loving the supply of oxygen and fuel, and hence the reason why the fire's travelling so far. And we're just concerned that the fire they say they have under control at the moment is going to start up again.
Where's your cancer now?
In the liver. Moved to the liver now. It's prostate cancer, travelled to the liver, called secondary cancer.
So it started in your prostate. You had, and we've talked about it before in Checkpoint, you had this ridiculous delay in your treatment. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we've had the Chief Medical Officer from the Southern DHB admit on Checkpoint that the delay was far too long.
Yep.
And now the cancer's in your liver.
Yep. So it was a difference of basically 8 months that made the difference of it, like it was an enlarging prostate, and it just turned into a really great tumour. It is what it is, and we just got to, like I said, we don't want it to happen to anyone else. But I'm down the track now, yes, and there is a claim into ACC, and we want that ticked. We are having trouble living on pittance, yeah.
Because you were the primary breadwinner in your home, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't worked since this happened?
No.
So the economic impact of this, so not only have you got secondary cancer, which is in your liver, as a result of this delay in treatment, you also have had a substantial hit to your household income.
Oh, we've used up all our savings and holiday pays, and everything's gone, so you basically are in a situation to run your house. You can't even put petrol in the car to go for a drive. So you know, you just got enough to pay the bills for the house and get a bit of food.
Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of tears on this carry-on.
The other thing I thought your letter did that was extraordinary is that not only did it give your mum and dad an identity and make them real and vivid and whole and loved, you also had the extraordinary generosity to give Ross Bremner an identity. What made you want to do that?
Well, I'd seen, you know, I've met with the Bremners and I had seen them in person. What I wanted it to be was, he was a real person. So was his mum, and so was Keith. And I guess I wanted that to be seen by other people. It's not, you know, the person that murdered my parents or the person that, you know, did what he did. He was a person that had an illness. And, you know, I just wanted people to know that that's where we were coming at it from. He had an illness. We weren't angry at him. We weren't angry at the family. We just wanted to express that, you know, we were at a loss as well.
Collecting, sorting and processing these mostly donated items is big work. Nationwide, SaveMart is a relatively large employer. But where were the staff I'd been speaking to? So this is a very bizarre experience. We phoned this morning and asked if we could come out and talk to the workers, and we have been able to talk to some of the workers. But we understand the union members have been segregated and are working in another part of this facility. Clearly, we don't just want to talk to a hand-picked sample of workers. We want to talk to all the workers and have free range as we thought we were getting. So I went to the local on-site manager. She called Tom Doonan and asked for permission for us to go and talk to the rest of the workers, the ones who aren't here, and that has been declined. So what was presented to us as an opportunity to come and talk free and frankly to the workforce is simply not that at all. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people working here. There are, we understand, a larger number working next door, but we're not allowed access to them. And I can't really see the point of having let us in these circumstances. Either we can talk to the workforce or we can't.
It switches everything off. Ultimately, it switched off internal organs for my son, and he died. You know, his heart stopped beating, and he became increasingly addicted. It's such an addictive drug.
And everyone was aware.
Everyone was aware.
And you talked to him about it? He talked to you about it, didn't he?
We talked openly about it. He was a very honest kid.
And you desperately tried to get him into some form of rehab, right?
Yes, we did. So he was on the waiting list for 8 months. On the week he died, he was at the top of the waiting list. It was too long. I continuously got people telling me there's just no beds, there aren't any beds.
So he was a formally diagnosed schizophrenic, receiving treatment for a schizophrenic.
Yes.
He and you and everyone were totally open about his addiction to synthetics, and he was on a waiting list for 8 months. And at the end of the 8 months, he died.
Yes. It's not good enough.
So they drive your vans, although they've paid for the vans themselves. They have courier post on the side, although they've paid for it to be there themselves. They wear a courier post uniform, although they've paid for that themselves. They're not allowed to do deliveries independently for other courier companies. These people are employees, aren't they? They're not independent contractors at all. They are in a 100% master-servant relationship with courier post, aren't they?
We have partnership agreements with our partners, John, not employment agreements.
Look. You're using the English language there, and I understand you're giving me words, but I want you to tell me in what way these people aren't in a master-servant relationship with New Zealand Post. They wear your uniform, they drive your van, they can only work for you, they are required to turn up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the most part. They are paid by you. In what way are they not employees?
Every one of our partners gets to choose how they do their job each day. And it's important to us that there's flexibility.
But sorry to interrupt, Mark, and I really appreciate your fronting, and I want to say on the record as we speak that your competitors in the private sector are not fronting. You are an SOE in your fronting. You say they get to choose. No, they don't. It's all or nothing. Their relationship as courier drivers is an all or nothing relationship with Courier Post. They don't get to choose. And that makes them employees, surely, doesn't it?
We have partnership agreements that work for both parties, John.
And we took action, which included telling Ruru to stop that practice.
Stop the practice of using a seclusion room, Minister.
Well, stop the practice of putting a child into those kinds of premises and for whatever duration or whatever time. My point is we took action on that investigation in terms of the recommendations made by the independent reviewer.
Except seclusion rooms, as we know from Miramar and other schools that have yet to be identified, were still being used until very, very recently. And you know, people just turned their backs on this practice, didn't they? I mean, people, and now it's had daylight. Everyone is saying no good. It has to stop. A qualified mea culpa. Yes, we need to intervene and end this. But in fact, the ministry has known about it. Your office has known about it. A lot of people have known about this for the best part of 2 years.
So, if I could say again, the complaint was made. An investigation was done to establish the facts, recommendations were made, and we acted on the recommendations.
In the images that they did see from the 15th of March, there was the robot. It was in what was referred to as the airlock, and it did feature mines rescue staff wearing protective equipment similar to what you've just described.
Yeah, looking in a container, looking like they're standing in a container of some description, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Some of those images were released.
Absolutely, but they weren't out in the drift. They weren't out in the drift. Now, look, you have worked your way up through the ranks, and you know from cross-examining people, sometimes it's the stuff you don't say that is as material as the stuff you do say. I just don't understand why you didn't show the families a man in the drift.
Well, from the point of view of the police, we, as I say, had been very transparent and very engaged with and meeting the expectations of the family. At the time when those images were available, bearing in mind that it was after a period after we'd handed over the ownership of the mine, the team that was stepping the families through the process of preparing them for the Commission of Inquiry and making sure that they were across as much of the detail as was reasonable to be across, that was the images that were shown. So I can't put myself back.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly again, learn to live so free.
Just the other day, our colleagues at Stuff told a story about a woman in Levin who's transplanting wings onto monarch butterflies. Linda Archer, her name is. Our boss Pip noticed it and we gave Linda a call. Now, from time to time, and this is more Kim Hill's domain than ours, we're in the news business, sadly, not the metaphysics and meaning business, we talk to someone who's animated by something, alive with the love of what they do, and Linda Archer, by golly, is one of them. We'd play the whole interview, but it went on even longer than Morning Report gives to politicians. So this is the story of Linda Archer and her butterflies.
They're just gorgeous, aren't they? They're like jewellery.
Yeah, they are.
You know, they're just amazing.
That grab, which is what we call bits of interviews cut into stories, was 5 seconds long. We got jewellery, we got amazing, and we were only just beginning.
Oh, look, I was just besotted with them.
And in a way, this isn't a transplant story, it's a love story.
And I decided that I was going to breed the monarch butterflies in this conservatory.
We're in Levin here, which has had a big news week with the petrol price story.
And I did over 120 butterflies in that conservatory.
We phoned Linda on Wednesday.
And I was just besotted with them.
That's the second besotted. We haven't just repeated the first one.
They are just stunning.
Well, I can't recall the last time I learned so much from a single interview, Charlie. How to cook crab, what the icebergs are up to, and the geographical makeup of your beautiful part of the world, and sociological and anthropological. But bloody hell, Charlie, you should be on Radio New Zealand more often.
Well, you know something, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I hope that, that your listeners will get something from this conversation, and feel free at any time to call, or by all means, come to Newfoundland. We'd love to see you.
Charlie Dunn, What a delight. This is public radio. The Radio New Zealand's the equivalent of the BBC, 100% state-funded, non-commercial.
Yep.
But we've been charged with dragging it somewhat into the 21st century. About 90% of our audience still listens. Brilliant. Genius. It was, in fact, a documentary.
It was,
wasn't a comedy at all.
Totally.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, sorry everyone.
Net service weather to midnight tomorrow. Shut up, John.
Look, I can't continue this conversation if your jeans aren't pulled up, Jeff. Are they up?
Yep, they're absolutely, totally up.
It's
Yes.
very important on Radio New Zealand. We say no to crack, Jeff. Yeah, I reckon if you're going to go into the business of importing $500 million worth of pea, you want to be a little bit better at it than this, don't you?
Oh, you want to think it out properly first to make sure it's going to work. Well, they got most of it right.
Shit, you're a classic, Brian. Oh, God, that's made my day talking to you. Thank you, you good bugger.
Hi, John.
Hello, what am I calling you?
You're calling me Samantha today.
Samantha. Okay, well, I'd like you to call me.
Giles.
I'd like you to call me something else. I'd like to be D'Artagnan today.
Okay, D'Artagnan.
Thanks very much. That's exciting. Thank you, sir. I'm looking really scruffy today. I just couldn't be having a shave, making an effort. I need a haircut. Thanks, you lovely man.
He says if you keep talking it down, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't talk yourselves into a funk, because that's not good for anybody.
Smoke that like a mother. Obviously, we can't put that bit to air. That's great, Shane.
Kia ora, John. Tēnā koe mō tō mahi runga I te pauka whakata. Ai. Kia ora, brother.
John, you've done a fabulous job on RNZ. We listen most evenings, funnily enough, to your show. I hope you have a great career at TVNZ.
Who was it?
John Campbell.
So he's finished?
Yeah, he's gone to TVNZ.
Oh, is he? Cheers, John. John Campbell. Appreciate the work you've done for us Aucklanders. Cheers, man.
Who's John Campbell? Hi, John. All the best in your new role. We've followed you over your career. We think you're fantastic. You're a great journalist, and we look forward to seeing more from you in the future. All the best.
Hey, John Campbell. I've met you a few times, and I think you're an awesome guy, and it's a real shame that you're going.
Hey, John. Thanks very much for all your service. We'll be missed. Love you loads.
Kia ora, John. My bro. It's been awesome seeing you over the last couple of years, bro. You've been an inspiration for a lot of Māori and New Zealand people alike. I wish you all the best on your journeys, bro. Stay safe and never forget about us, bro. Cheers.
La 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 la. Now that I'm moving to level 2, you say you wanna start something new. Well, it's breaking our hearts you're leaving our screens in the evening. You waved the white flag when you came from TV, then dragged us into Millennium 3. Now is it true you're gonna cheat on us with Hillary? Oh, JC, baby, you are marvellous. It's hard to get by without you on the show. Oh, JC, baby, you are marvellous. I'll always remember you saying thank you so much. You've seen a lot from behind that desk. You never seem to take a rest. With your top button up, you're so finely dressed. We're real impressed. Make sure you come back and work with us again. We know how much you love us lovely men. Who knows, we might have got through to Jerry Brownlee by then. Oh, JC, baby, you are marvellous. It's hard to get by without you on the show. Oh, JC, baby, you are marvelous. I'll always remember you saying thank you so much. La 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 la. Oh, JC, we'll miss you. It won't be the same after you leave, 'cause we'll turn the aircon up 5 degrees. And just remember not to steal our producers, please. Please. Oh, JC, baby, you are marvelous. It's hard to get by without you on the show. Oh, JC, baby, you are marvelous. I'll always remember you saying thank you so much. Thanks, John.
Tonight is my last night hosting Checkpoint. My initial replacement will be Alex Perrottet, who was singing that song. He's a lovely man, Alex. And then Lisa Owen, two fine journalists and broadcasters. The program will be in beautiful hands. But Checkpoint is made by a team. It's an RNZ news production with the resources of the entire news operation to call on, from Otago Southland to the far north, with fine reporters and bureaus and many places in between. I want to thank them all for their work and say one of the privileges of being at RNZ has been working with the increasing number of young reporters here. There's a few of them out in the Auckland newsroom now, and I'm so excited about what they're going to do for this organisation. The program itself has a permanent staff of 7. They're Pip Keane, our executive producer, who's sitting to my left now, Catherine Warbridge, who's sitting along the wall from Pip, our associate producer, Bridget Burke, our story and interview producer, Michelle Cook, who's behind Bridget, our digital producer, Zach Fleming, our reporter who's behind me here, Calvin Samuel, our beautiful director, and Nick Monroe, our cameraman, who's at the back. Also, we have a roster of sound recorders led by Jeremy Ansell, who's on tonight. I think this is the second or third time you've presided over my departure from RNZ, Jeremy. And Rangi Powick, Yana Witter, Blair Stagpool, and Jeremy Veal. They're all great. They all really give a damn. Also in the studio tonight is Francis, who's somewhere down the back, and Claire, who is our head of CamSec. Hey, you're the boss cameraman, aren't you, Claire? And Claire was involved, you were involved when we were setting this up, and we were all building this program, right, and rehearsing ad infinitum over and over, which was when, the end of 2015? Yeah. Anyway, they're a fantastic team, and they'll continue to give a damn and work hard and make radio that matters for an audience that deserves that respect. Checkpoint is over 50 years old. I look forward to being here for as much of the next 50 years as possible to listen to it, and I want to end by thanking the team in the room around me here, who've worked so hard and cared so much and given such a damn and made a program it's been my immense good fortune to host. I can't thank you enough. God, it's been a pleasure and a privilege, and I'll miss you all, although not the cake. Thank you for listening. Kia ora, rawa atu, nā manakitanga, ka kite anō.